just get some clean, spray it back. Okay, so we had a diamond call this morning and we got some updates, and Jon Acuff came and spoke to us and gave us permission to share what he talked about, which was really, really awesome.
But I'll give the YL updates first. The 7.6 ounce size of the sanitizer, all the back orders are going to be completed by today, at the latest tomorrow, but they said pretty much today. And as far as the new bottle stuff coming out, they'll send those out next Wednesday or Thursday, they said. And
maybe, probably.
Most likely, like more than 80% chance. But they're going to do all the back orders first before they release new products and stuff as well. So if you're worried about stuff for your members being back ordered and new stuff coming out, no, all the back order stuff's going out first, and then they're going to release new stuff after that. So that's good news.
Yes, and what they have done is remarkable. So the regular Thieves bottle, the bigger size, is from China. So there's like no chance of getting that, right? And so they pivoted, which is something that Jon Acuff talked a lot about, and decided to use the massage oil bottles, right? And put the labels on and all of that. I'm gonna just
I'm gonna put it up here so you guys can see.
So what they said usually would take like months to get done in terms of the production and getting everybody on board and the bottles and all of that took 2 weeks. So they are just working as hard as they possibly can to figure out how to get our products to us. Lauren Walker, who's in charge of our operations, showed us videos from the warehouse and the bottling department, and they have like plastic walls up in between people so that there's 6 feet of space, and normally everyone just wears a mask and gloves. Sometimes they wear like a jacket, but like they're in these like
full gear,
like head, like all the things. And
they're all quarantined off, like their own little cubbies surrounded by plastic, and there's no chairs in there. I mean, they really have done a number on them.
Yeah, and then they're even like where the bottles are coming through to get filled, every hour they're wiping it down with alcohol, so that just like there's not even the slightest chance that there could be any cross-contamination.
Yeah, so if you got members worried about stuff getting shipped and germs and stuff being on products, it ain't happening.
It's not gonna happen. So yeah, super impressed with that. Okay, so let's talk about Jon Acuff. There's 2 things I want to show you, if I can figure this out. Where is share your screen? Share. Okay. Let's see if Carol can figure this out. Okay, first screenshot is, which one do we do? Okay, he talked about these are the 4 things that you need in a time of a bump. So we'll talk about the bump. So all of this quarantine stuff has put us in a place where we all need to pivot and be really innovative. It gives anybody in this business the chance to be super creative, to think outside the box, to propel your business further during this time when everybody is staying home. So the 4 things that we need to invest in to build our business are the relationships, the skills, the character, and our hustle. So then the next graphic.
He talks about how to pivot. It's either panic or pivot. What are you going to choose to do?
Right. So you can panic or pivot, or stay in fear or faith, or stay in anger, or be active. And so this is all in his book, The Do-Over, and he talked about this at the Dallas Young Living Convention several years ago. But if you look at this chart, there's the up and the down, right? And the left and the right. So in all of life, we have voluntary and involuntary changes, right? Involuntary changes are ones we have absolutely no control over. Voluntary changes, obviously, are the ones we have control over. Then we have negative and positive changes. And within those 4 little segments, you have those 4 skills or characters that we need to invest in. And so when you are in the voluntary negative corner, that left top corner, he says that's when you can hit a ceiling. You might hit a certain rank and be kind of stuck. And that is when you get stuck, when you hit that ceiling, it's because you're not pivoting. It's because you're not changing up your game. And so he gave the example of Polaroid and Kodak, who were like the biggest, most successful photography companies, right? Like film and printing out photos and all of that. When things started turning digital, they, instead of embracing,
It's like he's basically you say about Instagram. Why did Kodak come up with Instagram? It's basically because they hit that ceiling. They weren't thinking outside the box.
What they did, instead of investing in Instagram, because I guess people came to them and wanted them to invest in digital photo stuff, they instead invested their money in better photo paper. So it didn't make sense, right? Like everything is going digital, but what they chose to do and focus on is like, let's make more expensive photo printing paper. And so therefore Polaroid and Kodak like kind of pretty much tanked, right? So what we need to do when we hit that career ceiling or we hit that stuck place in our life is to pivot and increase our skills. So what Jon recommended during this time frame when we're all at home, well, most of us are home and most of us have more time on our hands to focus on our business, is add one skill. What is one skill that you can add during this season that will help you break through the ceiling? Each skill that you master and learn is going to be a hammer that's going to help you hammer through that glass ceiling. So he gave an example that he's a writer, right? He's written best-selling books. He's also a motivational speaker, but his passion is writing. And he realized right now, especially, he needed to start doing YouTube videos. And that was something that he had been avoiding because it was not his comfort zone. But he's doing a daily video, so go follow him on YouTube. But he's doing a daily video now on YouTube to help him gain those skills. And he's like, I suck at it and it's going to be bad for a while, but it'll get better over time. So get past that ceiling, we have to invest in our skills. Then when you go to the lower left corner where it's the career bump, so he's saying that this whole coronavirus stuff is the bump in the road, right? It's not something that we expected. That's why it's the involuntary change and it's a negative change. But we can turn it into a positive, right? So what we expect is not what we're living out right now, right? Like nobody in their right mind, well, there's some people that may have, that's a whole other thing. But let's stay focused, okay? Most of us did not plan to have this happen. Most of us did not have any inkling that any of this was even gonna be a blip on the radar, right? And so when there's a bump in the road within your business or your relationships or whatever, that's the time to invest in our relationships. So relationships are the things that get you through the negative, unexpected issues. So what he recommended is, where do you need to show up? Where do you need to be seen so that others can feel seen? So he's saying, like, increase how you're relating to people. If that means emailing more often, if that means, you know, messaging people or video calling or FaceTiming or whatever it is, to reach out to those people that you haven't necessarily talked to that often, or even very much over the recent couple of weeks or months, to reach out to them and build those relationships, because that's going to help you get past this bump in the road. When we invest in our relationships, that's what really helps. Right?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Okay, then when you go to the upper right corner, where it's a voluntary change and positive, it's a jump. And so when we want to do something new, we usually jump into it, right? We are excited about it, we're motivated. And so what he's recommending is, what is a character investment that you can make in yourself, personal development, that you can make stronger for yourself. So what can you do in terms of choosing faith over fear, or activity over passivity or anger, or what else do you think?
No, just have an anchor. Yeah, you're good.
So focus on what you choose, the direction you desire. And then the last one over on the lower right is opportunity. So oftentimes our opportunities come to a standstill, but this is a time when we can take advantage of the extra time that we have. We can take advantage of the fact that there are other people that are all staying home, that are in the same boat, that are on social media way more often than they were when they were, you know, living lives, driving kids around, going to school, going to work. So what he said is to invest in your hustle. So to be very, very deliberate about what you're doing for your business by being more disciplined. So what he recommends is do one thing that you've been putting off that you can work on now. So that was his YouTube thing as well. He had been putting it off and avoiding it. And now he has more time to invest in it. Now he has more time to develop the skill set as he learns how to do the YouTube videos more and more. And he also recommended that with all of us working at home, that we make sure that we get dressed for work and not wear pajama pants. And what he said was super hilarious, that
Flannel is failure.
flannel is failure. And I thought that was hilarious, because he's like, if you are so comfortable in your pajamas, it is more likely that you will not be as productive as you need to be. So he recommends putting on jeans so that you are slightly less uncomfortable, or moderately less comfortable, and it makes you think about doing the work. Take a shower, like get dressed. I don't have makeup on. I'm not wearing makeup.
Me either.
Need a little blush. So those are the 4 things. So the do-over chart, we have a huge opportunity. Young Living is doing the biggest numbers it has done, like equaling Black Friday November. So that means we have so many more people jumping on board, jumping back in, wanting the products.
People are looking for alternative stuff right now, for sure.
So this is our opportunity to take this and run, right? And not be in the like gross like car sales, like, yeah, I'm gonna make all this money off these people that need the stuff, but like build those relationships. Like, what can you do to serve your audience? How can you give them information that they need that might help set their anxieties at ease just a little bit? What can you do to just put yourself out there? Because more and more people are spending time on social media. So it's a perfect time for you to just be vulnerable and be authentic and share from your heart. And when you do share from your heart, it won't come off as car salesy and smarmy. Like, people will know, people who know you will know that you are speaking from an authentic place. So if you haven't seen, I did an IGTV about nose salve using just animal scents and a couple oils. I mixed it up. I talked about it. It is one of my most viewed Instagram TV videos since I started putting stuff on Instagram. There's one that I did ear candling that like went bananas, but that was,
Don't do that though.
don't ear candle. But the nose salve, like, this video is getting like so many comments and so many views, and I could have put it off and said, like, I'm gonna get my hair looking cute and I'm gonna put a little makeup on. But I was like, nope, like, I literally just like stopped him and I'm like, hey, you're gonna videotape me, here's my phone. Shoved everything off my counter island, like over in a corner, stood where it was nice and lit, and was like, all right, roll it, like, go. The kids were like eating lunch and they're like, what? You know, like mid sandwich, like, I have to be quiet. I'm like, just, and I just did it because I was like, if I overthink it, I'm not gonna do this. And so I just went for it, and that's on there, and I'm getting a ton of exposure from that. So I highly recommend that you push yourself out of your comfort zone and you do those 4 things that Jon recommended. Add one skill, focus on your relationships. Where do you need to show up as a leader? Where do you need to serve your people, and how can you help them feel seen? Work on one character that you can build to be stronger, and be very disciplined and deliberate about what you're doing.
Oh, I got the password.
We can all focus on those 4 things that really, really help our business.
Yeah, but again, about panic or pivoting. Are you gonna panic, go down that whole rabbit hole of panic or fear-based, which you're seeing every day, or are you gonna pivot, use it to your advantage?
Yes.
And choose the latter.
So by doing all of those things, it will help you live your life in a way that causes questions, right? That's the key to this business. I loved that quote. Live your life in a way that causes questions, so that people are like, what is she doing? What is she talking about? How is she like living this life? In the last couple weeks, I've had 2 people reach out to me out of the blue. One I didn't even know, and one was a hypnobirthing client's husband. The wife has been my Facebook follower. We don't engage in any kind of conversation. And both people reached out to me wanting more info about the business. One person has already signed up, is already like starting to strategize about like how he's gonna use his network to build his business. But I didn't ask anybody for that at all. I have just been showing up consistently and showing that this is my business and this is my lifestyle. Like, it's not just me selling products, like doing a little dance. Like, this is my life. We use product all day, every day, all the time. I'm helping my team as much as I can all day, every day, all the time. And so people just know after following me that aren't even engaging in conversation. And they're just like, hey, I want what you're doing. I want a little piece.
I mean, showing up is I think too. It's like, a lot of people don't, they're so seasonal and why do things. Sometimes they're active and visible, and other times they're not. But being consistent and showing up is huge.
So that is the overview of that call. So open it up for questions or comments or aha moments. And yes, Kelly Burnett, you do have to change. And change is freaking scary and not something that I don't think anybody.
Change clothes.
Oh, change clothes? Yeah. Well, change clothes. There were people that were on this corporate call that were like, be right back. Go change my jeans. But also just change in general, right? Like change is something that most people run from and avoid at all costs. But this is our opportunity to look at the things that we need to change and take that little bit of effort and just do some things that might scare the crap out of you, but just do it anyway, because that's what's gonna, like, do you want to model to your team that you take risks, that you do scary things, or do you want to model to your team, I do everything safe? I'm just gonna stay in this nice little box and do my like one post every 4 days about like products. Or do you want to do a couple of scary things that really push you out of your comfort zone so that your team's like, dang, like she like did something totally out of the norm of her. So Michaela Clifford, I don't know if you're on here. You are my biggest get out of your comfort zone pusher of me. She's always working real hard to make me be way like blue, because I am like 0% blue. She's always like, I want you to go on and like just be as silly as you can be, and I'm like, no. But I've done it a couple times, because I know that I need to not just be the Carol that everybody expects, because what's the fun in that, right? Yeah. Okay, so any questions, comments, thoughts?
You can say them out loud or type them in the comments.
Yeah, just unmute yourself.
What was the thing that Jon Acuff said that you guys were laughing at? I didn't hear the term that he said. I know about getting in jeans or whatever. What was the term that was funny?
Flannel equals failure.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, or flannel is failure. Like he said that and we're like, oh my God, that's so true. I mean, we're all used to like saying like we can work wearing no pants, but he's like pants is super important, and like not wearing flannel pajamas all day, every day is even more important. So
this is totally side note, but if you guys follow Wilson from corporate on Instagram, Carol, do you follow him? The only reason I saw it is because I follow Marco from our Peloton group, and Marco challenged him for like the push-up thing.
Oh yeah.
He legit has this sweatsuit that's like a button-up jacket with the vest underneath and a tie and sweatpants, and it's all sweat material, but it's like a suit. So he was doing push-ups in his sweatsuit, and it was hysterical.
That's awesome.
That's so funny. So I have a question. During like all this, would you recommend like, I don't know, I keep thinking I should go live and talk to people about like supporting our immune system, because people always think like, how do we stay well when we always used to be so sick? But I feel like doing that, like that I don't know. I mean, obviously, like I know I'm selling a product, but like I want to help people and not annoy people. And I feel like sometimes I annoy people by talking about it all the time.
So what are you afraid of if you do annoy them?
Well, I guess that's a good question. My guess is probably that it's people pleasing, but am I pleasing people if I'm not serving them at all? So.
True. But what would be the worst case scenario? Your friends, your followers are annoyed.
I guess that they would turn it off and keep on going. That's not too bad.
Yeah, right? Yeah, so they might reject you, right? Like that's a human fear that most people have. And that's usually what keeps people from sharing, is like, I might be rejected by my friends or family or followers or whatever. But the reality is who cares?
It's true.
Right?
It's
Like,
true.
do you want to live your life being afraid of the people that you might lose because they aren't aligned with what you believe in? Or do you want to speak to the people and serve the people that care and find the new people that are aligned with what you believe in?
Right. Absolutely. Thank you.
You know? So yeah, paying attention to like what keeps you from doing things and not just letting that fear just sit right there is so important, because if we just let the fear sit there, then we become paralyzed, right? And we think about all these great ideas, but then we don't do it, right? Like I could have not done my nose salve video, and I'm like, everybody knows how to make nose salve. Like, that's just dumb. Like, I look like hell because I don't have makeup on. My hair looks like crap. And I don't have like a pretty background or anything. But I just was like, I don't care if this only reaches one person. But I feel like this is the time to talk about making nose salve, because everybody's freaking the F out about leaving their house, right?
Absolutely.
And so if I can serve my audience by showing them something that will give them an extra layer of protection when they leave the house, that's all I care about, right? Even
Absolutely.
if it's one person. So if you have stuff to make nose salve, like go and do that video. It's so simple and easy, and it's something that is really aligning with a lot of people. So.
Can I add something to that might be helpful? If I find my mind being filled with, I don't want people to think fill in the blank. I don't want people to think I'm annoying. I don't want people to think I'm being salesy. I don't want people to think I'm taking advantage of a situation. If I try to work or share or post or whatever from that energy, it's not going to have impact. But if I can flip it and make a list of what do I want people to think, what do I want them to take away, like I want people to think I'm here to serve them. I want people to think that, this is the life that I live. This is the message that I've always given. I want people to think that I have value or products with value. If I can just flip it to what I do want them to think, I feel like then whatever I say comes across with confidence, comes across with authenticity. Just my little tip.
Yeah, just those little shifts in your mindset can be so helpful, because the way that we typically think is usually stuff that keeps us from doing the things we really need to be doing to grow ourselves and our businesses. So if we can just shift the way that we think about certain things, that can help make it feel a whole lot more comfortable, or help get rid of the barrier that might have been there before. All right, any other thoughts or questions, or just share how you're doing, share something good that's happened to you while we've been home for the last 2 weeks.
I see smiles.
I'll just share too real quick that in the past, just this week, I've had 3 Young Living members placed under me, and a girl on my team has had 3 local Young Living members placed under her. It hasn't happened for me for a really long time, like maybe a year. It's never happened for her. So like my big takeaway from that is how badly people want these products right now, and how people are really starting to think more proactively about their health, which is a beautiful thing. So much so that even if they don't know a distributor, they don't have friends and family sharing with them, they're seeking it out. Like 6 people just right there in a week. That's a lot of people. So I thought that was really exciting.
Definitely. Yeah, the numbers for this team are through the roof. Our projected OGV is like 7.5 million, which is close to what Black Friday was. In the US, according to the corporate call, sales are up 16% just this month. And so I think everybody here is mostly growing in the US. You've probably felt that things have been a little flat lately, but this month is it's increased. And then next month we've got Silverbound, right? Silverbound gets launched. So that means anybody that hits star, senior star, executive silver, and gold, I think Goldbound gets started next month. So check out the videos that I've posted about Silverbound, or go on the leader development page of Facebook that Young Living has. There's so many videos that break down the whole Silverbound program. It's a bonus program. If you don't know what it is, it's a bonus program where if you hit those ranks, star, senior star, executive silver, and have your legs, your team set up in certain specific ways, and you hit star for the first time and they're doing a whole reset. So if you hit that again, you could be eligible. If you hit every single one of them, you could be eligible for 2,300 extra bonus dollars on top of your commission. And somebody else did the numbers, not Green, but somebody ran the numbers that if you started and bought your kit right at April 1st when Silverbound gets launched, and you hit every rank within the time frame of Silverbound, you would be silver or gold in 18 months or something like that. So that's not like crazy bananas, but that means like consistency and working your business and looking for opportunities and doing all those things that Jon Acuff just talked about, building your relationships, finding new people, right?
And you'll be a solid silver too, right?
Yeah,
Your groundwork will be for diamond all the way up. I mean, you're not going to be like just skimming by. You'll have a solid organization.
Yeah, the reason why they came up with Silverbound is because Rising Star Bonus was kind of like not that many people were taking advantage of it, and then the Elite Express program was super weird, and like you earned points that then you went to like go redeem and like buy a blender, which was not how our field members get motivated. So they took the money that was in the Rising Star and Elite Express bonus program, and they morphed it into Silverbound, which, like Scott said, will help you make sure that your structure is set up the way that it needs to be so that you can hit the higher ranks. Instead of what it used to be when I started, you could hit silver and 6. If you hit executive and then hit silver within 6 months, you got what was called the Aroma Complete, which is basically what the premier aroma collection is. But then everybody just put everybody in those 2 legs. So then you have these 2 legs, but then what, right? To get to gold, platinum, diamond, you need those other legs. And so a lot of people got stuck in that structure because everybody was like, I'm going for the silver and 6, but then once you hit silver and 6, then your structure was like completely screwed up. So this is a great thing to teach your teams as soon as they are going for star, to help them really understand how to build their structure and their legs and help them get that extra bonus. So, any questions or comments from anybody else?
I want to tell you thanks for doing this. It's really fun to find you guys home on a Friday morning. This is great. I'm loving being home. This is the first time all year that I've got to be home this long, and it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, Diana, you usually are traveling all around.
I know. Well, you know, we just came through the most painful year of my life, and it's wonderful to be getting back to life and getting back to the things that are important.
Mm-hmm.
So amazing.
Good.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Good. Anybody else have anything they want to share or question or anything?
I can share something too that helped me shift. Is something that Karis said, I don't know, 2 weeks ago now, a week and a half ago. I don't know. How long have we been here? Losing my mind. Okay. Because I was in the beginning of this feeling a little bit like, should I share? Like, should I use this situation? Blah, blah, blah. And she said, you're not doing anything different than what you've been doing for years now. You just keep sharing your everyday life where I'm spraying with my thieves bottle and I'm washing my hands with the thieves soap and I'm putting this in the diffuser. You just keep doing it. It's just now people are way more open to listening because they need something natural that's going to keep them healthy. And it really shifted my mind. I was like, yes, it's not like all of a sudden now I'm going to post about essential oils. Like I do it all the time. I'm showing people my lifestyle. And I'm just going to keep doing what I've always done. And that really should change my perspective. So I wanted to share that.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Good mindset shifts. Karis. Okay, I forgot to have everybody use their oil. So let's share what oil you have. I have Believe. Let's see what you guys have. White Angelica, yes. Believe. Oh, look, my sister and I have Believe. Okay. Harmony. What else? I can't see yours, Kylie. Oh, Scott's gonna do Valor, Abundance, Lang Lang, Cypress, Stress Away. Nice.
Frankincense.
Frankincense. All right, go ahead and apply. Karis, what was the thing that guy called it? This? Scent tent.
A scent tent.
Everybody get your scent tent.
It's so cute.
All right. Good energy. Okay, how are you all going to pivot? Pivot. Okay, anybody else tangentially? When you hear someone say pivot, you go to the Friends episode where Ross and I think Chandler are trying to get the couch up the stairs. Joey.
Yeah, whatever. But
And
anyway.
they're going, pivot! Okay, anytime I hear pivot, immediately in my head, I hear them yelling that. If you have not seen that, go and YouTube Pivot Friends, and it's...
I've yelled pivot in my head about 20 times today. Right?
Yeah. Every time Jon Acuff is like, you gotta pivot. I'm like, ah! Okay, so how are you all going to, what are you gonna do to shift and utilize this time to your benefit?
I'm gonna get on Project Broadcast today. I either have people that are living on social media or they are shut down and avoiding it.
Perfect, good. Love that, Louise. Who else wants to?
I'm gonna do the mom's hangout that I've been wanting to do for a while tonight, and then I'll go live to do the wellness thing.
Cool.
Awesome, Eileen.
Nice.
I actually did a video this week that I sent to some friends.
Yay.
So huge for me. Yeah. It wasn't near as scary or horrible looking as what I expected it was going to be. It was pretty exciting.
What'd you do the video on, Diana?
I did it on a couple different oils. I made one on Panaway and peppermint. And then I did another one on Stress Away. And they're just like 30-second videos.
Mm-hmm.
And I sent them to friends that I knew would need that, but that they also wouldn't be, judging me really harshly, which is one of my things that I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting over that. So yeah, it was incredibly empowering.
Good. Good for you.
Yeah. So that's what I'm up to. Just redoing my whole business. I got all my stuff printed out for a friend of mine printed my whole downline for me with all my expireds, everybody. So they're all going to be hearing my voice in the next couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really scary because I don't like picking up the phone to talk. I like picking up the phone to send a text message.
Same.
So that'll be a newbie, but it's already paid off because I have a referral to a chiropractor who we're having our second conversation today.
Wow.
And, that's on my list is to manifest chiropractors. So how fun is that?
Yeah, very cool.
Good stuff happening.
Yes. All right, who else wants to share?
Okay, so I'm going to do a scavenger hunt in our oil group at some point. I need to coordinate that with some other people. I like Diana's idea of, well, not idea, but that she actually did it. She printed out her inactive list and all those things. I just need to figure out how to run the reports. I know this is blue trying to be green. So if anyone can give me any tips, that would be great, because my brain's going, that could be one skill that could be helpful. So that's what I'm going to do.
Oh, can I say something here about blue needing to be green? I don't have any green in my blood. I'm all red and blue. So what I put on my manifestation list was green friends, and I brought 3 of them into my life.
Nice.
And they're the ones who printed it out for me. They put all of my people into Project Broadcast. I didn't know I had 1,400 people in my contacts, just on my phone, and Itovi, Zyto, and so he put them all in Project Broadcast in like 2 hours, what I haven't been able to do in 6 years. So that's what green will do for us. Thank you.
I'll be that green's friend.
Well, I have 3 of them in my life now. It's really fun, and it's just been in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, good.
So, yeah, wow, it's great.
Awesome, manifesting.
Mhm.
Yeah, we need some green people. Neither of us are green. Okay, Michaela's going to start setting time aside to take care of herself every single day. Exercise, alone time, at least try. All the things I haven't done since becoming a mom. I'm thinking I'll be a far more pleasant human being and therefore attract more people to this business and just spread more joy around me. Love that. Yes, you have not, I know Michaela has not taken much time for herself in a very long time. So I'm glad to see that you are going to make yourself a priority. Hence no video. Okay, I want to highlight something that happened yesterday. A couple of the people on this call were there. There's a group of leaders called The Shift. Jenny, Flood, Karis, Binder, Michaela, Courtney are part of it. Marceline, Margaret Lee, Suzanne, and there's quite a few.
Yael.
Yael, yes. There's quite a few local San Diego, North County, well, not everyone, mostly North County leaders that decided to come together and just start masterminding. And that kind of morphed into something called The Shift. And that morphed into Hello Hangouts. So every month when we were still allowed to get together with people, they coordinated a get together at one of the people's houses with a general kind of topic once a month. And anybody could come, product users, kit owners, interested people, business people. And I think the first one was at our house. And there's maybe like 15 people. And it's continually grown over time. Yesterday, they had like a business kind of just Zoom call where each person that was in the shift kind of had like a 2-minute little something to just like contribute to the call. And they're starting up weekly calls for their downline. So the majority of them are all cross-line to each other. There's maybe like 2 people that are related to each other directly. But they are doing weekly calls now of like, are you interested in the business? Like get a sneak peek into the business. And then another thing where they're just doing, like, product sharing, like just let's get together and share what you're using right now. And I just wanted to throw that out there to the rest of you to like think about like who you could collaborate with locally, or maybe not even locally now that we're all kind of at home. Like who are your cross-line buddies? Like get together with them and like just throw together a Zoom where you're doing maybe like 3 to 5 minutes of just tips that you have found helpful, things that you've been doing differently since you've been at home quarantine. Get into your product education group, or let your people that are kit owners know, like, hey, let's just get on a Zoom, like at this and this time, like maybe offer them 2 different times. I'd love to just like hang out with you and chat about like what you're doing in life, and see what's going on, and just offer them that chance to get on a Zoom to have community, right? To build community. So I just love what they've created, and they've had to pivot because they had monthly in-person things going on, and now they've pivoted, and now they have, do one of you guys want to highlight? There's 3 different like weekly things that you guys are doing now, right? Zooms.
Yeah, we're doing a weekly peek into the biz. So that would be for brand new people that have never checked it out before, really trying to serve like a community that maybe is getting laid off their jobs right now, or just need a side hustle, need some extra income. That's once a week. Once a week, we're doing our typical Hello Hangout that we do once a month, but now we're doing it once a week just because we feel like people are really needing ways to connect. And then and the third one is for kind of already established business builders, business strategy, and coming together in that way. And I also just want to add real quick, if you don't, because I feel like this was me for a while, like if you don't have cross-line friends to reach out to, and you're just sort of like, and I'm a little more introverted, and you're sitting there like, well, I don't know anybody. Like I wish I had pushed myself more in the beginning to just reach out. Like it literally just takes screenshot the participant list on this call and like reach out to somebody if you don't know them and just say, hey, like, would you like to be cross-line friends? like the good old days, pass a note. Would you like to be my friend? Check yes or no. And it just takes you putting yourself out there a little bit. And I'm so appreciative to Yael, who was the first one to just kind of reach out to all of us to find that, gosh, we'd all really been feeling the same way and thinking the same thing, but she's the one that put herself out there and made things happen.
Any other ways you guys are going to pivot this next couple weeks?
I think for me, the thing that stood out the most after listening to what Jon Acuff had to say was just the relationship side of it. And I know that's our business to begin with, but more, and also recently, I don't know if you guys follow Gary Vee, but he did something where you could become a part of his like texting list. And it's the same like mass texting thing as like Project Broadcast probably. And it's funny because when you first get on it, he goes through like this automated stuff, and then he's like, okay, that's the last text you're going to get that's automated. The rest of them will be straight from me. And I know they're going out to like thousands and millions of people probably, but I just love how like his messages are just encouraging stuff. Like, yeah, everybody's going through a hard time. Like, we're all going to get through this. And I think being that for my members is something that I'm going to start doing, is just using my Project Broadcast as a like uplifting, like positive message place, and not even oily, but just a message of hope, basically, especially right now.
That's a great way to use it, because then when they do receive stuff that is product focused or sales focused or whatever, it's not just, oh, here she is again with just another like promo thing. Like, you're putting the time in to develop those relationships. Okay, Louise said she's looking for Northern California cross lines. So if you haven't already looked in the distillery, there's a post called Where Do You Live? And in the comments, there should be a Northern California tab. And so there should be quite a few. I know Yvonne just moved from Northern Cal. So maybe you might be able to point Louise, kind of connect Louise with a couple people that you know in Northern California that you think would be up for doing cross-line stuff. Kylie posted downline reports at youngliving.com. So you can email that and get your downline reports and find out your inactive list. Okay, anybody else want to share what might be something you're going to pivot with?
I feel I think that I've been so focused on making sure like that my other job was like that I figured out how to work it from home and all the other things, but that's the same kind of issues that I have like during the regular time, like when I'm going to work, to like then remember to keep my second job of Young Living like at the forefront and keeping it as a business instead of as a hobby. And so for me, I think that's still my challenge, like that now I'm home more, but now I just have to make sure that I am taking steps, like actually like still getting up early to get certain things done for that business because it's still important to me.
Mm-hmm.
I think now that a little bit of the panic for me has settled down of
Right.
like figuring out all the things, that then it feels a little bit more like, okay, so now what are the steps that I need to take to be able to do these things that I want to do? And that I am no different than somebody else, like that person, like because they're doing it, then that doesn't mean I shouldn't do that either. Cause I think that is something that's been creeping up in my mind, like, well, they did this, so now everybody's gonna think like the same thing, like now I'm trying to do this. And it's not that I'm trying to like do the same exact thing, but if that's a really good idea that I know would serve my people, as somebody else said, like then why wouldn't I offer that to my people as well? So I really appreciated a lot of the ideas that were shared here, but that's what I'm gonna be pivoting my thinking about, and just kind of really trying to put the same kind of energy that I put into like my other job into this job.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, I think especially with like schools being let out and just like not really knowing what the government was going to do with all of this, and each, county and state and all of that, I feel like there was legitimately a time for like panic and taking care of like just hunkering down and like taking care of like your basic human needs and making sure like everybody is taken care of, everyone is safe, we have the supplies that we need and all of that. And I think now, like this week, people are kind of like sticking their heads out, like out of the, the smoke. The smoke is settling now, and now it's just kind of like, now is the opportunity for us. It's easier to stay in that mode of like, no, I'm just going to hunker down and focus on what I need to focus on. But like now is even more of a bigger time for us to serve our community, right, of our people, and to show them that you're stepping up and stepping out of your own comfort zone by doing things that they might not normally see. What other pivots are you guys going to do? When you speak it, you have more likelihood to actually do it. So, hint, hint.
Hi there. Well, I have a really small team. It's like 15 people. I just started Young Living like a year ago. But for the past, 4 or 5 months, I do, and I still did it. I just put it together because I can easily put together like a little happy mail with just like an aroma teaser. And then I print something out, and then I write a handwritten note on it. So I want to make sure I'm keeping up with that. And I also saw, I think Marsha posted an idea that I went back to. I think I'm pretty new to social media as well. So the journey's kind of been different for me because I wasn't on social media really until I started doing Young Living. So I had to also show people into my life, which has kind of been hard, but it's been really easier than I thought. My husband and I have been through a lot in the past 15 years, so I was kind of like a hermit for a really long time. But one thing is, like, I'm trying to do a Facebook Live, just like a 5-minute something that I'm doing because I struggle too. I teach special ed, so I've had a huge learning curve with trying to figure out how to meet my children's needs. through this, because my children that I work with are pretty, they're low functioning. So I'm just trying to help the parents with that in any way that I can. But to do something fun with my son, Jack, we've made a couple of things. So I'm going to work on that tomorrow. So I'm going to put it together and then do like a 5-minute. So, because I have to be honest, you guys, I'm not like the classes and stuff like that. I've gotten not a whole lot. I mean, my team is really small. And so I feel like too, like just inviting people to classes, that hasn't been something that's really worked for me yet. I have a lot of online classes I can do. And I've hosted some with my direct upline, because she's great. But I think that that's manageable to me. Like 5 minutes, pop on, do something live that you're doing at your house, so people can have a glimpse into your life, because it does, people want to see that, you know? So for me, I feel like that's something that I can be purposeful about and do, because that's going to build the relationships, which I need and want to do outside of Young Living anyway.
Mhm.
So for me, I feel like, again, I feel the same way. I'm home more now, but again, it's still hard to carve out time. Yeah, so that's something I'm going to try to be purposeful about starting, you know, this weekend, and do it after work hours, like after 3 p.m. Then I can post something, you know, that I'm doing or whatever at the house.
Great.
I don't know. I'm hoping.
Great idea. So Lindsay, a couple people in the chat, I was going to highlight this too. You started off by saying, I just only have a team of 15 people. So let's flip that and reframe it. You already have an amazing team of 15 people. Some people are struggling to even just get one person, right? And
Yeah,
so whether you have 15 people or 115,000 people, it doesn't matter. You're still doing the same things. I'm still doing the same things you're doing. I still struggle with the same things that you struggle with,
Mm-hmm.
no matter how big or small my team is. So switch the thought process, because it's not just 15 people.
Right.
We've
So
changed.
that's a really good way. And they all matter. They all either, you know, they matter to me, and their friend, most of them are close friends of mine or my family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a really good way. Just switching our thinking can be a pivot, right?
Totally. Pivot.
Right.
Okay, anybody else want to share? No? Okay. All right, so let's focus on living your life in a way that causes questions, so that people are interested and wanting to know, like, what is she doing? How is she surviving this so calmly? How is her life looking like this? So that they want to know more, so that they're engaged with you. Make sure that when you're doing social media stuff, that you're leaving it with an open-ended question, so that you're getting engagement. And also, if you're gonna share anything about staying healthy during this time, just make sure no words of coronavirus, no virus, nothing.
Tie it together.
Yeah, just say
Keep it generic.
super generic. Everybody has coronavirus on their mind, right? So whatever you say, the most general thing, they're gonna get it and they're gonna understand. What else? I have more faith in Young Living right now than I have probably ever, just being able to see what they're doing to ensure that the company stays safe and that we continue running smoothly. I don't know if you guys saw the post I did about member services, but like they have 500 member services reps that were all pretty much, I think, in one building. And once things started happening where, you know, social distancing and all of that, like they had to majorly shift what they were doing. So people started, they started thinking about like, how are we going to help these people work from home? Because you can't have 500 people all in one building and maintain 6 feet away. And so they started calling around on, I don't even know, like on one day and they secured 200 laptops from a leasing company. And then they got all of those laptops to be programmed with all of the necessary programs. And then they had member services people coming through a warehouse one by one. They get, all thieves down, and then they go and get their half-hour training on how to use this laptop, and then they would go home and work from home. And within like 2 days or something, they had all of they had like 300 member services people working from home with either their own laptops or these leased laptops. And there's a couple hundred that are still working in the office because they either have a spouse that's already home or kids at home and that they need a quiet space, and they've figured out a way to maintain that 6 feet of distancing there. But they also got every single corporate person to be able to work from home and communicate with each other and make sure that even though, production for thieves is increased, they opened up the pick lines in the warehouse. No one prepared for this. When they had Black Friday numbers, they prepared for that, right? They had extra staffing.
Months, yeah.
They're actually hiring 200 more staff for the warehouse. For the Spanish Fork warehouse. The Memphis warehouse has shipped out 42,000 products
yesterday,
or shipments just yesterday. It's like record numbers. So they're just like figuring it out on the fly just to make sure that we have these products. So not only have they opened up more pick lines in the warehouse so that they can get more of our shipments processed, because they have to have that 6 feet of distance. So there's less people in the warehouse working. There's like, I think 3 shifts going now, but they had to figure out how, what they would plan for Black Friday, which was like months ahead, so that when Black Friday hit, they had the staffing, they had everything running smoothly. They had to figure that out in basically like a couple of days. And then there's other products that our production companies are making that are our products. There's some that are coming for spring launch and even convention that have been shifted so that they can have all of those production lines for our thieves products. So they're sacrificing a little bit less for spring launch, a little bit less for convention, just so that they can just do 100% of thieves. And then they've even gotten some other production companies that we've been working with for other products, just like shove everything off, like just focus on thieves, because they want to make sure that that is getting taken care of. And then to prepare in case the state of Utah says like only businesses that are essential are allowed to be open, they're figuring out something where they can start donating thieves hand sanitizer to the local hospitals so that our company can be seen as an essential company and can still stay open even if the state of Utah shuts everything else down. So they're pivoting. Yes, our website sucks. Yes, shipping times are awful. And yes, we have all of these issues, and we will get through this. We are the customer service, so reach out to your people, make sure that they know what is happening and why their packages are taking so long. But just know that Young Living is doing so much to make sure that our company and our members are getting what they need right now or as soon as possible, and that that our businesses are going to be supported through this major, huge bump that we all had to deal with. Corey says, I was going to say that it's times like these that allow people to be more vulnerable than they typically would be. So I'm pivoting to listen even more carefully to people's pain points as they talk about them and to be more outwardly transparent with my own. Great opportunity to connect on a deeper personal level. Definitely. Yes, thank you for sharing that. So yeah, take this opportunity share with your people like what Young Living is doing. They are going above and beyond. They are, you know, I'm sure even though our numbers are up, like in the short term, it's costing them a lot to do all the things to make sure that everything is working well, that our companies and our businesses, the field, are supported long term. So yeah, feeling really excited about what Young Living has going for the next year. I think we are really, really blessed and lucky to have this job and this community that we can rely on to help us through. So unless anybody else, other questions or comments?
Can I actually ask you a quick question about IGTV? Because I know you have a lot of experience with it. Part of it's just a logistical question. Well, I know didn't you do like a challenge where you did like 30 days of IGTV or something?
Yeah.
Well, okay. My first question is technical. Do you record the video just on your camera video?
Yes.
It has to be under 10 minutes, and then you upload it to the IGTV app. It's a separate app, correct?
I upload it, yes, it's under 10 minutes, it's on my phone. I go onto Instagram, and now you don't have to go to the separate IGTV app.
Okay.
Go to post it, and just like any other video, and it'll ask you, do you want to post this to your IGTV or to as a regular post?
Okay, perfect. So none of that is live. That's always pre-recorded.
Right.
So then my other question, like where I always get stuck, because it's something I've been wanting to do more of for a while, or people have said to me, like, you should do YouTube videos, is like the second I try to think about all the things I could talk about, my mind goes blank and I can't think of a single thing that's worthwhile to do a video about.
Mm-hmm. So maybe write the list on your phone
on your notes
when you are thinking about it, so that when you're ready to actually do one, your memory can be jogged.
Mm-hmm.
But
is that how you did it when you did so many in a row? Like, how did you come up with content for every day?
That was like 90 days, 100 days.
Gosh.
I don't know if I actually made it to it definitely wasn't 100 days in a row. But that was after seeing Michelle Puller do Hello Fears, and she did like 100 fears in 100 days. When I was doing a video a day, I was just being super deliberately intentional about looking for things that I found valuable. So a quote that I was like, I'll talk about that quote and what it means to me. Or like, okay, products. This is the product that I'm going to do. And so I just knew, because I committed to that, I knew like in my head throughout the day, it was just constantly like, what am I going to post about today? And then I'd be like, okay, I'm going to post about this. And then go in the other room. And
I do the same with my Betterment stuff. I have a folder in my notes, and I keep track of all my posts and what I do. If I get an idea, I'll put it in there as an idea, and I'll do my research, and I'll add to it. So my notes is a huge thing for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like the nose salve video, it wasn't ever going to be a video. It was a post that I did. Right? No, it wasn't a post.
No.
It was a post like a week and a half, 2 weeks ago when I traveled. I went to Salt Lake City, and I did like a whole Instagram thing of like, here's what I'm doing. I have my nose salve. I've got my Thieves lozenge. I've got my Thieves wipes for the plane. I've got these supplements. And then I had like maybe 2 or 3 people message me separately and ask me like, what's in my nose salve? And then I was like, you know what? So this was like before people were stuck at home. And then now that we're stuck at home, I was like, I need to go to the grocery store. And the kids were like, don't go outside. And I was like, no, it's okay. Like, I will be okay. And they're like, don't go. And I was like, it'll be fine. I've got my nose salve. I've got my hand sanitizer and yada, yada. And I was like, I should talk about the nose salve thing. And so then it was like, okay, I'm doing it. Go. Like, but yeah, if I think about it too much, then I'm like, oh no, like nobody wants to hear about that.
Totally. Yeah, I was thinking a lot of maybe like DIYs because people are home and might not want to have to run out for every little thing. If I could do a DIY toilet paper, I think my Instagram would blow up. Is that possible?
I'm sure there probably is a way.
Okay, that's helpful though. Thank you. Because I've always tried to sit down and make a master list, and then I'm like, I can't think of a single thing. So I'll do more of a running list.
There's a place.
Thank you.
There's the piggyback on. There's a place in Thailand that we visited that they make paper out of elephant poop. So there you go.
Hey, we might have to all get resourceful at some point. If you add essential oils, at least it wouldn't smell as bad.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Essential oil infused elephant poop toilet paper.
Yeah, exactly.
Perfect.
Yes, what we learned in Thailand was elephants poop a lot. And when you boil their poop, then you just get like the hay and the fiber. And
fiber.
It doesn't smell. And we actually got to make like, our daughter made like a book out of the elephant poop paper.
I love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining me. This is recorded. I will upload it to YouTube so it has captions for anybody that wants to share it with their members that need captions. Michaela's going to go collect the poop from her elephant now, and
we're going to pivot.
All right, go watch the Friends episode of Pivot, and you will understand what we're all talking about. Okay, love you guys. Thanks for joining, and hope you guys are well. Talk to you later.
Bye.